and gentlemen, it's time to dig in for Draped in Gold. I'm Jack Farmer, being joined by Flobo Boyce, who's having an incredible day so far. Flobo,
Fantastic.
how are you?
You know what? I was wondering, when are you going to trademark that? Ah, yes, man. I feel like that's totally you now. And no, still your gimmick.
Who says it's not already trademarked? I should. I don't know. I don't know how I would go about doing it, but I do know a trademark guy. I do know.
I would live to get a cease and desist from the Jack Farmers.
And let you. I believe you me. I would be sending them recklessly and wildly to anybody who even uses one of the words on their own.
Affirmative.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us here on what is a muggy day here in my home, but maybe it's a nice weather for everyone else across the world. Nice weather this weekend where we had SummerSlam. We're going to talk all about WWE and SummerSlam. Lots of news breaking from there. As I say, thank you to everybody who's joining us in the chat or watching on Twitter, or are we still on LinkedIn, on YouTube, whatever. Appreciate you guys coming through. You guys make the show. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
And if you're in the chat, we'll try to get you guys in here as well. Flobo, let's talk about AEW.
Okay.
I'm seeing Kayla.
Yeah, I saw her comment. I was like,
caught me off guard. Says, hey guys, you got a lot to recap, and don't forget my boyfriend coming out of a fridge last night.
I'm so glad you and I were sick with that. I was like, what? Oh yeah, right. Yeah, AEW.
I was like, but that's right. I do know what we're talking about. I'm not going to say his name though, because I don't want him to show up, Kayla.
Why not?
Let's talk about AEW first, since we just finished that show. So we're still reeling from what happened. And I thought that this was another great AEW Dynamite. I heard rumors and rumblings that they're doing production meetings now before shows. And they must be, because I feel like I can tell. It feels like AEW shows have had a little bit more, I don't want to say consistency is not the word, but just they feel like they flow a little bit better lately.
Oh yeah, you know what? I feel there is not a big opening, but a decently sized opening for disillusioned fans from the E to try AEW again, and so they got to strike with the iron. It's hot. Some of the characters are ready and raring to go to be pushed front and center. If the show is tight, people may give it a chance again. Those who have abandoned them back in 2023.
We finished the show with a matchup that I thought was a good one. MJF versus Mark Briscoe. This match I thought had a great story to it. They've built to it well. There were stakes involved. Overall, I thought this one delivered incredibly. I'm a big Mark Briscoe fan. I think that he has a very high ceiling. I'd like to see AEW capitalize on more. But also, I feel like all around this is good. Even commentary were reminding us that Briscoe has on a win streak in main events. Remind us who he's been beating. MJF, of course, has a lot of stuff going on right now. I love this main event. What was your thoughts on MJF Mark Briscoe?
I'm going to feel like such a hater here, but it's okay because that's my gimmick, apparently, according to Jack here on Draped in Gold. I did not like the fact that two opponents are wearing the same colors. I hate that. I feel like one guy should be red and one guy should have been black or blue or something else. But the match itself delivered, to your point, yes. I didn't like the fact that Tony Schiavone was like, we'll be here for as long as it wanted to be. But the things to your credit was this. With all the stuff happening with MJF and that Hurt Syndicate stuff, we got ourselves a pure own wrestling matchup, something that probably people forget about because MJF always seems to be locked in more of the stories and not so much the headlocks, takedowns, and snapmares.
You know, I actually agree with you on what they wear to the ring and whether or not it matches. I'm on the same page. Now, I don't think anyone's going to look at Mark Briscoe and MJF and think they're tag team partners based on the way they're dressed. But I do wish that I am a big believer in good color schemes, and also if the colors clash, I don't like to see it. I think
I can see the tag team.
I like to look good. You know what I mean?
Well, give me an alternate universe. If Mark Briscoe was named Wardlow and it was 2020, it would work. It would work.
No, it would not. Those two would not work. I would never believe they're a team ever.
Come on.
But I really enjoyed it. See, I always give you a hard time about saying it was okay because you'll say that it was okay about a match like this, but then when we talk about NXT later, you'll be like, Jordan Grace went outside and it was raining. Oh my God, give her all the stars. This is crazy. It was raining in the parking lot. Oh my goodness.
I know you hate NXT, but that show is absolutely dope. It is massive how many people are coming on, and the storylines are all kind of interconnected. It's great. You hater.
It is crazy how many people are coming on that show. I just wish it was people from NXT that were coming on.
Yeah. Just because you don't watch other wrestling promotions, it's fine.
I don't want that. I watch 20 hours of wrestling a week.
Sure.
What you want me to do? If I watch more wrestling, it would be a problem.
Pshaw, Jack Farmer.
We got to talk about Brodido. We got to talk about this tag team. Brody King, Bandito, they're moving on to the finals of the tag team tourney. You made fun of me for saying that Bandito is cool, but man, I'm watching this tag team. I'm loving it. These guys, I think they're my favorite tag team going right now.
I forgot they called themselves Brodido. That sounds like a Taco Bell order, but you're absolutely right. I was sleeping on Bandito. I would say, he's pretty okay, but no, this match here was so much fun. It was like, the moves were above the pale, but it made sense for the matchup. It wasn't just moves for moves' sake, but you can do that and wow audiences. That's the sweet spot. That's all I really asked for when it comes to aerial combat. So, dang, I didn't know how good he was.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
and it's just the moves were great. I thought the Bucks were even great here, and I thought that this is just a team that, again, I always say the big thing, and I repeat it all the time. This is a team that if they walk out together, you kind of like, who is this? What are these guys? If you've never seen wrestling before, what are these guys all about? And I just think they look cool. I think their offense is cool. I could see a shirt looking cool. I'm just a big fan of Brodido. Everyone in the chat, everyone in the comments.
I'm not calling him that. I can't call it that with straight face. Brodido.
The Brodido is so good. You're right. It does sound like it'd be something you'd order at Taco Bell at 3 a.m.
Right.
And you'd order like 12 of them because that's what you do at Taco Bell.
I had Taco Bell for the first time in like 5 years yesterday. I tried a Crunch Wrap Supreme. Yeah. Actually pretty decent.
Oh, okay.
Kind of a late report. I know, like 20 years after it came out. By the way,
Crunch Wrap Supreme.
But I had my first one yesterday. It was great.
In other news, McGriddles.
Yeah.
You should
Have you heard
try
about
one.
these? Have you heard about these? Like Jay Leno. Hey, Kevin, you heard about this? I heard about this.
So yeah, I'm gonna call him Brodido, and I might get Taco Bell in. I haven't had Taco Bell in a long time either.
They miss you.
I they are a toxic relationship, because they say they miss you. Yeah, you see them, right. It's all good and fine, and then later they treat you bad, if you know what I mean.
Just have a Baja Blast. Just come on.
Oh, there'll be a Baja Blast, all right. That's the problem.
That's not what I meant. It's a family show.
That's the problem.
That's so gross.
Speaking of things that are toxic relationships, but this was something I love. I want to talk about this toxic relationship, and it's again something I love, something that I just think was, I want to see more of, and that was that beautiful artwork we saw of Don Callis and Kyle Fletcher together. You're a man of the arts. Like, this is clearly something we got to hang in the Louvre.
Apparently not, unless the Louvre has a basement where it's going to be all the extra stuff they want to put on there. You know what? I know you're a Don Callis guy. I know you have him in your phone and your buddies. You're probably going out to your own grilling expeditions next weekend. But I wasn't a fan of this. I dare say the art wasn't that good.
The art wasn't good. I mean, I'm about to put Kyle Fletcher into the Thigh Guys for a piece of art here.
The Thigh Guys.
Because I think that, for those of you who don't know, the Thigh Guys is a very elusive group. Exclusive, not elusive. They are elusive. They're pretty quick. But exclusive group for the men with the best thighs in wrestling. And,
Judged by.
Well, I would know Jack Farmer. I mean, is there anyone better to judge the best thighs in wrestling? And I'm looking at this painting, and I'm just like, listen, I mean, Kyle Fletcher, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat. Is Kyle Fletcher a thigh guy? I think he made a good case, Flobo. What do you think? You don't like the fact that I judge. So let me ask you, Where do you rank Kyle Fletcher's thighs?
I think you missed the point that I don't want to judge other guys by their thighs, but somehow you put yourself as a thigh elitist to be like, sorry, you wear long tights, you can't be a thigh guy. But Kyle Fletcher, wow, those are some thighs in that guy.
That is one of the rules. You cannot be a thigh guy if you cover your thighs with your wrestling gear, which is a big piece of it. Because there's a lot of people who probably be in it, but they disqualify themselves. I'm sorry, Bobby Lashley. I'm sure you'd be in it, but you don't wear the right.
I'm jumping ahead. Miles Bourne, is he a thigh guy?
I have to double check. I got to look at it. I
have to verify my sources.
He might be grandfathered in because of Randy Orton, who is absolutely a thigh guy.
They're not the same person.
Randy Orton is a Mount Rushmore thigh guy to be.
True, absolutely true. No debates there.
There's 8 thighs on the Mount Rushmore, though.
Okay, makes sense.
So Ricky Sinclair, I'm still in the middle of watching AEW. Pause to watch you guys during the Kyle Fletcher segment. Ricky, have you seen the painting? Have you seen the painting? That's the important part.
Very fitting. He's like, oh, Jack Farm's talking about thighs? Pause.
So everyone in the chat, let us know who you think should go into the thigh guy group. Again, this is a group that people want to be in. Ricky Sinclair says yes. So I'm guessing Kyle Fletcher deserves to be in the thigh guys. Kyle Fletcher, yeah, I'm sure you're a fan of the show. Let us know if you want in the thigh guys. You don't have a say, actually. No one in the group has a say. If you're in, you're in.
It just sounds creepy the more you describe it. It just sounds. But hey,
listen. It's not creepy. I think it's honoring people who have put in the work to have the best thighs.
Right, leg days are important. You're absolutely right.
See, Danny C brings up Big E, and this is the controversial take. The thing is, Big E's tights partially cover the thighs, so he is disqualified. I can't have Big E in. They're shorts. They don't count. I'm sorry.
Stop. So it has to be the little itty bitty trunks. It has to be those.
Yeah, give an inch, take a mile, Flobo. You can't have any leeway on this. You gotta. The rules are there for a reason.
Man, all those months at the gym just totally negated by some inches of fabric. What a shame.
I may call in a favor. I may call in a favor with Jimmy Corderas, who knows about calling things down the middle. I'm going to explain the thigh guy rule to him, and I'm going to see what he thinks.
I can imagine Jimmy be like, you're an idiot.
You called me on for this?
Right, of all the reasons to call
this is what you wanted to talk about? You know what? We might have to do this.
We should do this, yeah.
Last thing I want to talk about here is Darby Allin kidnaps Wheeler Yuta mid-match and then challenges Jon Moxley to a match at Forbidden Door. I'd love your take on the Darby Allin, Jon Moxley saga, and I would love for you to tell me what the date of AEW Forbidden Door is.
I couldn't tell you the date of any wrestling pay-per-view if you paid me because I had to keep checking even for this show. But I think it's kind of funny that Darby Allin's kind of the thorn in the side of Jon Moxley. And I know you're not the biggest Wheeler Yuta fan, but how many times can Wheeler Yuta get beat up before Jon Moxley goes, I shouldn't be hanging with you. You're kind of a liability. I mean, he had a note stapled to his head. Like, what was going on?
I'm pretty sure that's why he hangs out with Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler Yuta takes all the beat down so Jon Moxley can get away. I'm surprised Wheeler Yuta hasn't figured this out yet and said, what am I doing? This is ridiculous. The conglomeration doesn't get beat up this much.
That's what I'm saying. You're Jon Moxley, and you're like, you could take staples in the head, you keep on fighting, but yet Darby Allin basically kidnaps your buddy like a Scooby-Doo episode. And you're like, dang, Wheeler, here we go again. Like, what's going on?
Yeah. You need someone to beat up. But I mentioned the Forbidden Door thing because I don't know if they ever actually said the date of Forbidden Door on this program once. And I might be mistaken. I know they did talk about the ticket sales for Full Gear, but I don't know if they actually said when the date of Forbidden Door is, nor I don't know if they ever said the location of Forbidden Door. And that just goes back to our big gripe of AEW is like the promotional side of things is like,
yeah.
I mean, I could look it up. I'm sure
it's London. I just looked it up for you. It's London, August 24th. But you're right. I had to look it up for this. this
like,
instance.
the show just got done, and they actually had I challenge you to Forbidden Door, and they never just said on August 24th. I know it's stupid, but that's promotion. That's sales.
Okay.
You know?
In all fairness, do we know where and what day Clash in Paris is? Don't say Paris. But do we know what venue Clash in Paris is?
I do not know that.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I don't know.
But I do know
French.
I do know they put the graphic up every show. At least once a show, they put a graphic up with the location, and they'll typically even do the drone flyover shot of the arena or stadium that it's at.
Yeah.
So to not mention it at all, not even once, is a little crazy. Maybe they did. I mean, I didn't wasn't listening super hard the whole time, but I did have kind of a passive listening to it. So yeah, I just think it's probably a good idea to remind us what day these things are.
I'm with you.
Speaking of, Danny C says Flair realizing apparently he's a thigh guy. No, just because you have those tights does not mean you are a thigh guy, but you have to have those tights if you want to be a thigh guy, right? It's kind of like just because you're old enough to drive doesn't mean you have a driver's license.
Rule book more complicated than the NFL, but okay.
Well, if you want a good product, you have to have some guidelines. And thigh guys, we put on a good product.
A good product. Oh, Lord.
Well, what would you call it, Flobo?
I would not call it anything.
I would love to hear what you call it.
I would not. I wouldn't even engage.
Whatever, let us know what you thought of AEW this week. I thought it was a great show. I think they've been doing pretty good shows lately and are starting to get some continuity going. I also want to say there were some rumors flying around, Flo.
I love rumors.
I didn't post anything. I didn't plan on talking about them because they're the kind of rumors that I don't put a lot of weight in. Maybe they're true, maybe they're not, but it's one of those. MVP apparently does not like Speedball Mike Bailey, and he's made it publicly aware to everybody. Yeah. And that was going around for a while. People were chattering all about it. But then, of course, you actually sent me, I saw this on social media, and you sent it to me as well, a video of them clearly having fun together, mocking the people who have gotten their panties in a bunch, as we say, about this whole situation. Flobo, your take on people hearing rumors about relationships in locker rooms, running with them, and just kind of that whole idea.
Dude, I swore you were going to ask my opinions on panties, but I'm so glad you didn't.
Well, we're not done yet. We got a lot of show left.
Oh, we're out of time. Sorry, Shivani, we're out of time. You know what? It is funny because like a lot of wrestling fans, we love the dirt sheets. We love the shows. I mean, we're part of the ecosystem too. We have a podcast. We talk about what's going on in the news. We want to be inside behind the curtain, but at the same time become gatekeepers for anyone else. It's kind of this weird dualism thing. And so this cool idea of MVP, this old guard guy with a Japan and a strong style, totally hating someone who was like a martial artist base, but young and like bouncy, was fun. It was attractive. It was quote unquote sexy, not literally. But what happened was it was like, yeah, that's just a rumor that got started out of absolutely nowhere. So now everyone who passed that rumor around looks like totally an idiot for doing so.
Yeah, just a reminder to everyone, when you see a rumor or someone, just because someone tweets something, doesn't mean that you have to buy into it, hook, line, and sinker. You can just say, you know what? Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. Doesn't matter. Typically, Flobo, if it's anything regarding this person doesn't like that person or that kind of thing, I think whatever. I don't pay attention to it one bit. Now, the kind of news I would listen to is stuff that we'll talk about in a little bit, like WWE and ESPN signing a deal, because that's stuff that's pretty verifiable one way or the other. We're going to figure out whether or not this is true. And that's the stuff that really matters. Frankly, I don't care if wrestler A doesn't like wrestler B in real life. It doesn't really mean anything to me. I work with a lot of people I don't like.
Hey! Go back. I'm sorry. We could all be thigh guys. No, but it's funny how like on X or Blue Sky, someone could just start a rumor like, you know what? You can tell, I don't know, Triple H doesn't like CM Punk because he lost. And that's it. And it was catch on like wildfire, and it becomes a thing, like breaking news. And it's so interesting how things can be so fast at the same time. And wrestlers, bless their heart, they're getting like added and tagged all the time to talk about these things that aren't even true.
And what's funny about it too is that sometimes people will even because you're right about that. But then also you'll have the faceless, Twitter account with a bunch of numbers after their name who just says, Fightful is reporting that so-and-so hates so-and-so. And there's no links or tags or anything to verify that this is an actual thing even Fightful said. They just post it and people go, oh, well, I guess,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. They
Yeah,
run off
per
on
source.
per source. Yeah, so
okay.
just a PSA to everybody. Just whenever you see stuff like that, just pump the brakes a little bit. Calm down. Don't need to have a reaction. Ricky Sinclair says, I thought you liked Raj, Jack. Raj does love to get involved in his social media arguments. I try to stay out of them.
I mean, how can you avoid them? He totally. Okay, I'm not going to get
there. Yeah, Raj does love to get into those get into Twitter arguments. I don't. I usually just go, don't say anything.
You're actually on Twitter. You're more like, hey, I'm going to watch an old 90s movie. Any suggestions? I'm like, Jack, like, the whole world's going to end tomorrow. You're looking for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3? What is wrong with you?
Oh, that'd be a good one. I'm going to watch
the boy, Jack.
The boy that totally fell off in production value and they go back in time.
Not the boy.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, my God.
Yes, I'm going to watch that one. Man, they don't show that one on TV anymore. That would be a good wake up from a nap on the couch movie.
I agree. I actually have to agree with you with that one.
Kayla says, I feel like they're going to show PLE on ESPN Plus. Well, that's the big news, Flobo. This is some news that dropped. WWE, ESPN, they have signed an agreement so that WWE will be showing PLEs on ESPN. And from what I understand, there was some confusion about whether or not that means we're paying for these things, whether or not they are included, how we're going to be accessing these. From what I understand, and unless you've seen something more factual, is if you already get ESPN, then you'll get to see all of them with whatever package you already have. If you do not have ESPN, it's $29.95 a month to have the app, which you can then watch the PLEs. And from what I understand as of now, they will not be charging per PLE in that case. Flobo, what are your thoughts on this deal? And
first thing I thought with the WWE thing, I was like, why, man? If anything, you want to combine platforms to get yourself the maximum value, but maybe being maximum value is being piecemeal. So taking a step back, and if I bore you, I apologize. ESPN is kind of getting late to the table with their own standalone racing offering. They're losing F1. Rumors are swirling that F1 may be moving over to Apple. They need to fill the calendar. So you saw them invest in a lot of college sports, a lot of women's sports, and then now with this new standalone app, they need some killer content for that platform. The NFL ESPN relationship was earlier this week with them purchasing Red Zone in exchange for giving up 10% equity to the National Football League. So they needed another heavy hitter to anchor it. So this is where WWE comes in, because they, up until now, have a very loyal fan base that will go with the product wherever it is. WrestleMania is a thing to be seen. What I've seen, though, amongst this confusion and the rising ticket prices and maybe some of the fatigue of the quote-unquote Triple H era, this could be a crux moment in being able to maintain the on fire right now momentum they had for the past 3 years. This could really be a sign of hubris, my friend.
Yeah, they could find themselves under a rock real quick if they don't. If they don't do something right. No, but it's. So I would say on paper, just like brand to brand, ESPN feels like a much more natural home for WWE than Peacock. Peacock feels very like random, like, oh, you're showing WWE on Peacock. I just didn't feel like a natural place to look for something like WWE. And again, this is 2026, I believe this happens.
Correct. Starting with the Riyadh Royal Rumble.
So I guess I don't know the numbers on how many people have this already, ESPN, how many people are going to have to pay to get the app because of WWE. So I don't really know how that will change, because right now I know a lot of people have Peacock just for WWE. And so the idea of having to pay another subscription is not really accurate if you're going to be canceling Peacock. And I believe there's a lot of ways to get ESPN. Like I believe if you have Disney Plus now, you get ESPN for free.
Right. The bundle, the top tier bundle.
Yeah, if you have the bundle, there's YouTube TV that has it as well. And so I think there's a lot of ways to get it without the ESPN app. I sound like I'm trying to promote them right now.
I mean, you are a shill. That's what I heard.
I will shill, baby. Triple H, give me a call. You went out from under that rock. You're gonna be on fire again, baby. I will put WWE signs behind me all day. Let's go.
WWE sold out this Sunday.
Picture of me,
right,
and thighs behind me. So I think that's fine, but I will say, if you have to get ESPN, if you are someone who has to get the app, suddenly that is a big cost to get these shows. Right. $30 a month, not as bad as because AEW is not every month, so it's kind of getting those AEW numbers, which we've talked about many times as being a huge barrier to entry if you have to get that, which is a problem. And to your point about the hubris, I know right now it sounds like they're not going to charge for the PLEs, but I know UFC charges for their pay-per-views a pretty heavy penny. And it would not shock me if TKO said to themselves, why don't we start charging for these pay-per-views as well, these WWE PLEs? Because you probably could. Right. And the slippery slope of this becoming very expensive does not seem unrealistic to me.
Well, unfortunately, WWE is kind of almost like the team sports, because they realize that individual fans don't pay the bills. When you say you're a diehard fan, you probably buy, and I'm wearing our Mets jersey as I say this, you buy like one jersey a year, you probably go to a couple games, you probably watch them on TV, and that's pretty much it. And so you're seeing this when they build new stadia. They have all these hospitality zones, which WWE has to get the corporate off, the corporate checks and the bigger things. And the idea of having your content already paid for by distribution and streaming rights, and just having the fans as filler for crowd noise is something that WWE is just following the blueprint from other sports. The problem is with wrestling in particular, it's that it is a moving carnival. It was that way for a long time, going to small towns and engaging with more rural fans. And if that changes, will that end up long-term cannibalizing the sport? Who's going to go to these wrestling matches if I have to pay, and I am paying this, $300 for a cheap seat in the San Diego for Survivor Series?
Well, that leads me to SummerSlam. And I know we're a little bit late to the party to talk about SummerSlam, but we haven't had a chance to talk about it yet, and a lot of big stuff happened. But Danny C, I guess real quick, I want to get this shot in here, says, I'd pay for too many subscriptions. I'm probably not going to go over to ESPN. That's why you guys are just that much more important. Oh, thank you, Danny C.
5 stars of review, please.
5 stars. Ricky says, I have Peacock free with the Xfinity. If I get the ESPN app free through my cable, I win for not cutting the cord. Interesting. And then Ricky adds, we got too comfortable not having to pay for WWE other than through a monthly service.
It's the price point, because I have Peacock, I had Sling for $45 a month. I moved over to Peacock for $17 now, and it was a deal, right? But now going back up to $29, which I'll have to pay for because I don't have any other authenticated service, is a pain, because we all know PLEs are what wrestling storylines build to. So if anything, you should have that. And now that's essentially doubles what Peacock is offering.
Which is exactly the problem we said with AEW, is why watch a show if you can't watch the big season finale? That's right. That's crazy talk. But I want to talk about SummerSlam, which was SummerSlam. Going back to everything we were talking about, I want your overall thoughts on SummerSlam. I thought individually these shows were great. I thought the overall presentation was good. But I look at WWE prides itself on not being a company that caters to the sickos, but tries to get the broader audience and get an outside audience in. And everything we're talking about so far, I got to have a $30 a month app to watch these shows. And now I'm looking at SummerSlam, like, I've got to watch 2 hours of SmackDown. I've got to watch 3 hours of SummerSlam Night 1, 3 hours of SummerSlam Night 2, 2.5 hours of Raw on a 4-day, beautiful, sunny summer weekend. I can't imagine a casual person thinking that that's casual at all to follow something like that. What was your thoughts on SummerSlam? What was your thoughts on the 2-day the 2-day event and making a 2-day event and just everything SummerSlam. And we'll get into, there's a few things I want to talk about nitty gritty, but overall thoughts.
So kind of a biased opinion because SummerSlam is my favorite pay-per-view PLE of the year. I like the idea. I feel like if there's only one event in wrestling's yearly calendar, WWE's calendar, that should be 2 nights, it should be SummerSlam because of the biggest part of the summer and the celebrity involvement and the fact that the kids are out of school. I would much rather have WrestleMania be like the one show a year where it's the marathon 5-hour, 6-hour show. That's just me personally. But that said, because some of the sets are kind of flat compared to generations ago, because some of the music is flat compared to generations ago, it did have this cloying effect, like eating too much cake. And it was like, man, all right, that was night 1. I guess I'll see you back here tomorrow. And it felt like a job. And that's unfortunate. Maybe I'm going to blame New Jersey for this. Maybe that's a fortunate location or what have you, but it shouldn't be that. It really should be more of a festival atmosphere for what it is. And I kind of wish some of the individuality of these events, these promotions, these camera angles, these color schemes were really more pronounced as the calendar goes forward.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I just, like I wasn't able to watch SummerSlam live either day because I went to a baseball game one day. I was out the day before because again, it's just, I feel like it's tough to get people to want to sit inside and watch a TV show that long in the middle of the summer. Especially if you're saying this isn't for the people who are the diehards that sit in and watch this every week. Or you know what I mean? The more casual people, it feels like a very big time investment. And to your point, I don't know how many how many casual fans are going to say, well, let's spend all weekend watching SummerSlam, but I don't watch very regularly. You know what I mean? Like as opposed to a Royal Rumble or a WrestleMania, for instance. But overall, I thought that aside, I thought the shows were great. I thought a lot of great matches, a lot of good stuff on SummerSlam personally. I want to talk to you about a few things that happened. Of course, we had some bigger things at the end of the nights, but just quickly, I wanted to ask you about Becky Lynch's music. What were your thoughts on the change?
Wow. Well, when someone gets a new song, it's always kind of jarring and it doesn't fit her, but I really hated her last song. I hated the last. I always tell people who would listen, her old theme song sounded like a level from Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, I just imagine, like, let's go, Tailspin. Like, it was terrible. But the whole Becky Hogan thing, the whole like look at me thing, it fits her character more. I'm willing to give it a chance. I bet it's one of those theme songs that feels good in a gym playlist, but it sounds awful on TV.
The old song, I should say, I always felt great about for her, but to your point, it's because it felt like it fit her perfectly years and years and years and years ago, and she's just always had it. I think if this was vice versa, if she had this new music for all those years and then changed it to what she used to come out to, if she changed it today to the you'd be like, what the heck is this?
Right.
This is
Steph Rebel now.
No, right. You'd hate it, but because it was like, it was with her the whole time, we just sort of accepted it as like, oh yeah, this is what she comes out to. But it hasn't really fit her since she gave up the whole steampunk kind of look.
Kids don't even remember those days. That was like 7 years ago.
You know what's crazy is there's a lot of people who probably don't.
Right. She was always the man. No, she wasn't.
So I do think the new music is better. If I'm honest, it's going to take me a little bit to get used to it and feel like it's hers, just because her music is so iconic to her. So it'll take me a little bit before I can really judge it. But I like it. I think it's a good move for her. Danny C, comment of the night so far. Jack called everything correctly on SummerSlam. He even called the surprise ending. Danny C knows. I appreciate you calling that. I don't want to say that mine is the best, Danny. Or that my predictions are always correct. It feels like I'm bragging. So I'm glad you did. It's absolutely true.
This didn't happen.
If you looked at my gambling problem, I came out ahead on SummerSlam. Why? Because I guessed them all right.
I split my money in half. I made $20 into $9.95, so $9.99 a month.
Oh, nice. I want to talk to you about John Cena.
Don't get me started.
John Cena, Cody Rhodes. Let's start with the let's start with first. There's three parts to the John Cena saga here, and first is SmackDown, where he clearly turns, becomes a good guy again. Then he has this match with Cody Rhodes. Fantastic matchup, in my opinion. And Cody Rhodes gets the win, and then Brock Lesnar returns. I want your thoughts on you can break down individually the three things, just overall, whatever. I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, that one raises a lot of questions, right? So when John Cena turned on SmackDown, turned face, I'm not here to ruin wrestling, I should say. I thought it was part of a mind game. So, because the whole thing was Cody was never going to go to the dark side to beat him or like cheat or go killer instinct. I thought it was going to be a swerve and Cody's not going to fall for that and not become the story of defeating the evil champion. But that didn't happen. So John Cena just decided one day, hey guys, I'm just kidding the past 4 months. Sorry, Belgium. And I'm like, I'm fine. It's we roll with that. The match, great. I think that was the best part about it. If the match was bad, we probably would have like booed this harder. And then, okay, Cody has a title. He walks out of it. John Cena is now the good guy, which makes Friday's promo unnecessary because he would have been a good guy if he lifted up Cody's arm anyway. But then Brock Lesnar comes out. And last week you asked me, who is Mr. SummerSlam? And I said, if Brock is on the table, because I wasn't sure he was, he's Mr. SummerSlam. So it made sense on paper. However, and I'm not someone to muck rake on the X platform. It's hard not to look at Brock Lesnar now and disassociate what's being told about him in social media. So like, it was cool for the wrestling thing, but I'm at the age now where I'm not like, wow, Brock Lesnar's like, whoa, Brock Lesnar? How did that work out? Am I going to see Brock Lesnar? Am I paying $29 to see Brock Lesnar matches now? Like, what's going on? So I'm mixed to answer your question.
Yeah, to go back to the beginning, so I've said on here, I wanted to see John Cena play the hits. So I'm kind of glad we're at a place where he's playing the hits again. It does feel like something happened. Maybe it was getting Brock Lesnar and they need to figure out how to make it work. Maybe it was The Rock officially said, I'm out and I don't want to be a part of this anymore. Maybe it was, maybe it was just John Cena saying, I want to play the hits. I don't know, but it feels very much like something. I don't think it was the plan for him to cut that promo all along on SmackDown. You know what I mean? I think something changed where they said, okay, you need to cut a promo and we need to change direction. Shout out says in the chat. I will never call you by your real name. I'm always going to call you says.
Lullaby's advocate.
So, but I don't know what it was. I thought he cut a good promo. Like I said, I think the Cena Cody Rhodes match was phenomenal. I think it was one of the best probably the best match that Cena's had since he's come back, and probably the best match Cena's had in a number of years. I think for my dollar, I thought it was fantastic. With Brock Lesnar, you know me. I always say I am the head of the Brock flock. I am the
he did say that.
Head broccoli.
Oh, you did say that.
That said, I'm kind of with you. It's hard to knowing what his name is involved with all the legal issues and all that stuff. I can't see him and not have that like kind of in the back of my head, like what
is he supposed to be here? Is he allowed to be here? Like,
yeah, like it makes it a little uncomfortable,
Yeah.
And I think that. I think it would go a long way if TKO was to say that they've done something to clear him legally, or they know his name has been removed or something. I don't, so we know that it's not an issue anymore, as opposed to them just saying he's here. Hey, pretend like you don't know what's going on in the real world. It's weird though. It's weird for me to see him there. It makes it a little uncomfortable.
And I think that's kind of and I don't want to get too into the whole political thing, but it does feel like TKO's era with WWE is like, I know we understand you have nostalgia because we're going to sell you nostalgia merchandise, but you have to like put yourself out of that box because we're going to move how we want to move, whether or not it's Triple H over the past 10 days, whether or not it's bringing back Brock Lesnar, whether it's not supporting certain charities and super PACs. It's like, this is what we do. This is how we operate. If you're down, you're down. If you're not, you're not. But I thought, maybe I am not informed as I should be, that Brock was like currently involved in something. If he's currently involved, how does that even work if the job he was doing is what he's whatever in trouble with? But if it's a thing where it's like a holding pattern, you're right. I wish it was a press release. I wish it was well, that's why they don't have any more post-match pressers. That's why they didn't do it this year. Now it's all clicking because I bet some podcasts will be like, hey, wait a minute, why was Brock there? But yes, I want some clarification as to why that was the case.
Yeah, exactly. It's because it's also like the things he's accused of or being accused of being with are gnarly. I would say it's not like he was accused of shoplifting somewhere. It's pretty gnarly stuff, and it's the same company. That's what also makes it weird. If it was like there were some legal issues of him, let's say, stealing money from another company he works at when he's not at WWE, it's like,
right.
Okay, that's a little weird, but whatever. But it's like, this is the same. It's the same place, like,
Yeah.
It's weird. And I know he's still going to be there. And I understand the value of a Brock Lesnar, John Cena, one more time kind of rivalry. I get it. It's just weird. And I wish that TKO would at least take some ownership of it.
So to answer your question, to answer your statement, do you think the promo then on Friday's SmackDown was kind of like an exclamation point? Like, no, I am a good guy. Good guy, cheer for me for this next challenge or something else?
Yeah, I think they just knew they had to make that switch for the Brock Lesnar. I think they probably signed Brock Lesnar and knew it was happening, so they had to make that switch kind of abruptly. But to your point, I think they still could have had the match the exact same way. With him raising the arm at the end. And I think that the show should have ended with Cody and like having his arm raised by John Cena. And the question asked, well, then what's next for John Cena? And now Cody Rhodes. And the last image is Cody Rhodes really getting put over by the greatest of all time. Monday, or I guess Friday, SmackDown. That is when I think this week is when I think John Cena should have cut that promo of I'm a good guy now. And then Friday, I think Brock Lesnar should have made the return.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not sure. Because Brock can go to Canada. SmackDown's in Canada this week. I didn't think that was like a travel issue, but I'm with you 100%. That to me would make a lot more sense. But it is what it is now. And I guess we're getting at Clash of Paris, or at least further on, Lesnar and Cena, which I guess is a match I want to see if I turn things out.
Yeah, I get it. And it's also as said says 9 Cena dates left. It's getting tight on feuds. Let me ask you this: if we know there's 9 dates left, Brock is clearly one of them. Let's say you've got 2 other matches, Flobo. Okay. And this I'm gonna put this to the chat too. You got Brock. Now I'm going to assume 2 more matches outside of Brock. In the chat and in the comments, who do you think they should be, and what should they be?
Who do they think, or who do I want?
Let's do who do you want? That's more fun.
I want Sheamus and AJ. Because Sheamus' first championship was over Cena, and then when AJ came, that was a big face runs the place, champ runs the camp. That's the ones I want. As far as who they give to, I don't know, because John's such an old school guy. I kind of feel like he will pick a younger talent to ultimately do that after Brock.
Yeah, that's interesting. So just for funsies, if Brock is next, who do you make his last match? Would it be Sheamus or AJ?
If it was just me with the pen, definitely AJ. I think that's a bigger exclamation. I would love the Sheamus one being late, like last one, but I think AJ would be the big exclamation point. But knowing John, I feel like there's gonna be some young kid. Like, well, I can't say Austin Theory. He's not even on the roster right now. He's injured. But like someone like young like that to be like, okay, I'm gonna actually put you over and get out of here.
The older I get, too, the older the young guy idea is.
I'm seeing guys who were born like 1991, like hobbling on baseball diamonds. I'm like, 91? Like, what are you doing, kid?
I heard an interesting fact, and I haven't double checked it, but I heard there has never been a WWE champion born in the 90s.
Whoa. Wait, a world champ? What about?
Yeah, the WWE world champion.
Oh, that's going to change. I can't imagine. Who was the first one?
which just is kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, we got Chris Brick says Drew and AJ. Ricky says Sheamus. Says AJ has to get a match. Chris says Drew is the last match. Danny says Reigns then finally putting over Akira. Let's go. Akira is ready.
Okay. You know what, Danny? See, I'll humor this because I feel like Roman will cut him in half, literally. How does Akira win? Like, besides, you can't have him roll him up. How does Akira beat Roman Reigns?
No, Reigns. This is who will face Cena. So first Cena beats Reigns, and then Cena puts over Akira in his final match. With probably just by a clean hitting a finisher one time.
That is the dumbest. Akira winning period is dumb. I misread that, but still, Akira winning everything is dumb.
Chris says pass the torch, kind of, but like a young guy like Theory. Drew, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Is it? Oh, Drew Kidd is probably how I say it. AJ Styles, Braun Breaker, last match, Punk in Boston. And then Ricky says, say his name, and he appears. We will not be saying his name. Ned says, Mello with the ultimate jersey hang-up would be fire. I would be down for that. I am a big Mello fan, so I am here for that. I wouldn't bet the house on it. But
I don't understand. Awesome. Oh, wow. If Jack won't bet on it, you know it's a bad deal. But my mind blows. My mind is crazy that they brought up Mello to have him ride the bench. I don't understand that. Like, I get it. You have guys who are bigger, smaller, but like you have this dude who's clearly talented. He's on SmackDown, so he has room to maneuver. You have Cena walking around, and it's like, yo, Mello, listen, catering, that's for you. Like, come on, man.
I think that I've said before on NXT, I think that Mello could be a game changer. I think that he's the kind of person that if you gave him the ball, he's the kind of person whose promos would be the kind of promos people mimic for years to come. And they would steal his cadence. He'd be very, I think, the same way that, people talk about LA Knight sounding like someone like The Rock or Stone Cold or whatever. I think in 20 years, you'd have people sounding like Mello. I think he's incredible.
I am.
Kayla says, I still believe. We'll talk about it in a little bit. Mello would be a great pass. Mello would be great to pass the torch. I totally forgot about him.
Totally forgot about Carmelo Hayes.
I can't believe it.
Because he was neck and neck with Trick for a long time. I mean, I was still of the opinion, hey man, I think he has a bit more of an edge on Trick Williams. Now Trick is running 2 promotions, and Carmelo's was I forgot about him. It's just egregious.
Yeah, it's a shame. Said wonders what if the final match is Cross.
I'm unsubscribing from ESPN right now. That is something I do not want to say.
Flobo's not a Karrion Kross person.
Nope.
I would like to see if Brock is next. I've always thought the last match should be. I still think it should be The Rock in a rubber match for them, and I still think Cena should go over. I think he should win.
Yeah, but they're 2 old men, man. Give me some. I mean, look, I get it. We got some of that for the old guys in the audience, but the kids have to know how good Cena was. You got to give them something from their generation on.
I don't care.
Wow, screw them kids. Screw them kids.
Michael Jordan had it right. Screw them kids.
What?
Yeah,
I don't care. Look,
it's
man,
about me.
Wow, Stephen A. Smith, farmer over here. Listen. We don't care. We don't care.
It's my favorite GIF of all time. I feel like I think that all the time. But Chris says looks like Melo's getting a lot more fanfare on socials though. So is Karrion Kross. I want to see it on the show. I want to see him get wins.
Did you see that match at SummerSlam? Would that blow you away?
I thought a lot of people were talking about it. I thought it was good.
You thought it was good. You sit here and you lie. I can't believe you do that.
Speaking of telling lies, CM Punk had a match with Gunther as well. And we got to hashtag we want Mello. I'm down with that. They had a great matchup. Punk gets the win, but then Rollins cashes in. I want your thoughts on the match. I want your thoughts on the cash in. Was it a surprise? Let me hear it.
So first things first, I got to pour it out for Gunther, right? Because they gave him an orbital eye injury, so he's out indefinitely. I don't, I I get it. Getting busted open isn't fun, but the poor man was walking around dizzy like a Street Fighter character for like a 2.5 minutes, and I was like, "Punk, put him away." So I give him all the Emmys for that. But let me say this: the Punk winning is something we had to see because he was always in the conversation for the main event. You had to give him the title reign, and I know people say just leave the ring, but I think having an extra moment with him with the gold is pretty much all you're gonna get out of this run. So I'm okay with milking it. What I'm not okay with milking it is Seth freaking Rollins because I listened to that Rich Eisen interview when he was like, "Yeah, I hadn't really checked my knee out, but I know my body, so I think I'll be out for months." And I believed him. I was Swerve, and I'm an old man being Swerved. I thought I knew everything. I had to reconcile with me not knowing everything, and that makes me mad. So I hated it. I hated Seth Rollins. I hated him trying to be all clever. I still don't know what this new group wants to do. So okay, you're the champ now. How about you explain it to me? You didn't on Raw, so it was dumb. So shout out to Gunther for trying to be busted open and trying to walk around like an oaf. Shout out to CM Punk for winning the World Championship. I still recognize him as champ. And shout out to nobody else because Seth freaking Rollins sucks.
Chris Brick says Seth has the 2 best cash-ins ever. Debate me. And Flobo, I want you to debate him, but Dolph Ziggler's off the table. Go ahead.
Ooh. Well, if you put Dolph Ziggler off the table, I have to give it to Tiffany Stratton. No, I'm just kidding. He's absolutely right. I always forget about the heist of the century. I don't know why. It always blocks out.
Really?
But I don't. It's a weird like file not found. But when I see it, I go, oh yeah, you can't top that at WrestleMania. Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, I that and Edge's cash in just because it was the first, right? Edge was the first money.
His first?
Yeah.
First? Yeah.
That was just because it was the first. Those are the 2 that I always think of when someone says the best ever. And then I always think that Seth says Dolph was the greatest cash in. The thing with the Dolph cash in is, and we're splitting hairs here, but the thing with the Dolph cash in, it was so good, but I always have to think for a little bit before I go, oh yeah, and the Dolph cash in. It's never the first one that comes to mind, which is why I always think Seth.
By the way, Edge only won the Money Back once. That second one does not count. That's the one thing I really hate about wrestling is that second briefcase, and this bank on it. I hate that.
Did Miz win it when he took it from Otis? Do you still consider him a winner?
I do not. I mean, even though I love Miz being a WWE champion to troll people, I don't count his cash in either because he won it via a crooked judge at a kangaroo court. That's like 2 levels of dumbness right there.
Has there ever been a more realistic thing in pro wrestling than winning Money in the Bank in a crooked kangaroo court?
Well, that year was weird because Otis won by climbing an entire building by throwing Aleister Black off the side of said building, and then he lost at the trial 3 months later.
I think I'm ready to go back and watch those shows.
Do it now on Peacock before it moves.
I bet it was unhinged during those days.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm a big CM Punk hater.
Yep.
So I loved getting him cashed in on. No,
but why, Jack? Why?
I thought CM Punk was fantastic in this match, though. I thought CM Punk and Gunther was great. We got to start. I know everyone gives Gunther's flowers for being incredible already, but I want to double down on that and say that it's insane when you think about how many people's best matches are with Gunther lately. Like Goldberg's best, and not just like, oh yeah, he had a great match with another great wrestler. I'm talking like Goldberg had his best match with Gunther.
Yeah.
This was, I believe this was one of Punk's best matches. Not counting matches like, Hell in a Cell or something where there's a little bit like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, like Hell in a Cell is always going to have a little bit more to it, where this was just a straight up match. I thought it was fantastic. But I thought Punk was great. And I think that the way he was cashed in on, I think he did a fantastic job. I got to give him his flowers for that. But I love seeing Seth Rollins cash in. I, for one, never really felt. I kind of assumed he was going to cash in. I wasn't super surprised when he came out, to be honest. It didn't.
Was it too soon?
Yeah, it was too soon, and they kept the Money in the Bank briefcase in our face too much. I think if they had just said, he's injured. He's going to be out for a long time. But for now, Braun, you're the guy. And then if they just never brought the Money in the Bank briefcase back on TV and they just acted like he wasn't a part of it anymore, like, because that's what they would probably have done if he was really hurt. But instead, he was like, Money in the Bank, like, I got it.
Yeah.
So I was always thinking, like, well, he could catch it. That's a good Heyman impression.
You made him crossing the clown. Why is he crossing? Hey!
I've got like 5 impressions, and one of them is just the Krusty the Clown laugh. Like,
can I answer Cedric's here? He says this Punk and Edge hate. Actually, I'll add on to that because I also have Bret Hart hate, because Bret Hart said that this week that
Cross.
Well, I mean Bret Hart in this instance, because Bret Hart said that Gunther does lazy wrestling, and I have to disagree because it's not as technically sound as what Bret used to do. But he's right. If you go back to the litany of hits that Gunther's had, and guys of different sizes and shape, Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, Drew McIntyre, like these are guys who are different sizes, and everyone feels that they can chop him down. And he perseveres by classic grappling moves and holds. He's a throwback in all the right ways, kind of a palate cleanser. It's not pretty. Sometimes I kind of wish, I understand why he did it, but sometimes I kind of wish he was the big fat baby Walter sometimes, because it was a bit more intimidating. But what he's done is pretty awesome. So I hate seeing him go out like that, because you can tell he was like slowing himself down to Chris Brick's point, to Punk's speed, because Punk is not nearly as much wind as Gunther has.
Big baby, more intimidating. But to the point of Bret Hart, I'm a huge Bret Hart fan. I think he makes a lot of good points. I do feel like there are times when he sounds like the old guy that says they don't make good music anymore. And it's like, no, it's just not the music you listen to anymore, Grandpa.
Right. Hip hop is different, because back then we did the hip hop, the hippity hip hop, and it was great. It was great. Now these kids are gonna rumble raps.
Play some old school.
Old school.
No. I'm talking old school.
What is it? What do you want?
Let's talk about NXT real quick, because I thought that was another great show. They're also on a.
You're a hater though. Don't lie, man.
I'm not a hater of NXT. There was a while I said NXT was the best show, wrestling show on TV.
That was the other Draped and Gold.
I feel like they lost their way for a bit. And now I thought the past 2 weeks were really good, though. A couple things that stood out to me. One, Ethan Page is a treasure, and that treasure is even more treasury when you have Chelsea Green out there. I love the dynamic of those two, and this situation was awesome. I loved it, Flobo.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I legit thought that Lance Storm would have come down this week.
I was kind of
talk about the title being changed, but Chelsea was a surprise, and the fact she came out with a Hervis, and it looks like Tavion Heights may be looking for a tag team partner. This one here is pretty cool. It gives Tavion something to do. Ethan Page is going to be the king of the mountain for a long time, as he should be. And I actually love. Okay, we'll get to it later, but I also love how the men's champs are finally taking shape, and Ethan Page is super important for that roster right now.
Yeah, I agree. So I think it's good that he's stuck around. I know a lot of us wanted to get called up, and I think he could get called up any minute, and it'd be great. But you're right. He is very valuable to that. And Tavion Heights, I have high expectations for. I think.
Is he a farmer's market pick?
I put him in the farmer's market. Absolutely. Ooh. I thought he sounded good on the mic. He's incredible in the ring, athletically gifted, got a good look. I think I think the only thing that now you got to cross your fingers for is that the cards fall for him as far as what he gets to do and work on. Because, so some things you can't help, like if you're not on TV.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out who Tavion is. Especially now we have so many people of his similar size and build. Mm-hmm. So now I think character is super important for him to find something that works. It doesn't have to be something big, but nothing lame like playing poker. Like, oh, sorry, I feel bad. He's on the roster anymore. But something different than 66 out on Tuesday.
My boy. Don't make fun of my boy, Duke.
I'm not making you Duke Hudson. Yeah. It's something different to make sure he goes, okay, great. If he's going to be the classic wrestling guy, make sure you do it in a way that's different than the Creeds if you were to be called up. And I think you're money.
I think he's got more personality than the Creeds. And I think he's got that same kind of athleticism. But you're right. He needs something besides just a personality. You got to have a character. You got to have something that stands out. So that's one of the things you kind of hope. I hope that he gets. But right now, everything that he can control he's knocking out of the park.
Absolutely.
Dark State, they're up butts like Oba, Moose, Trick, and Javon, as well as Hank and Tank. Flobo, talk to me about Dark State being up butts.
I get it. Every group has that one guy. You're like, hey yo, why you say that? And he's like, yeah, with a thumb. I like this because the guys were running together. Dark State were all running together. This is kind of a cool moment, but there's still a threat. We don't know what they want, but in a good way. I'm on board. Give me more of this. Not the butt stuff, but give me more of Dark State on NXT.
Give me more. It was just a line for, I don't know if anyone caught it, but did you catch it? I know I texted you.
Because they stopped it. They were like, what are you, anyway, Dark State's coming out. It was like,
we're going
up your butt. I'm like, oh God. CW, I get it, but jeepers.
It sounded very very funny. Yeah, Dark State's been a good multi-purpose tool for people to face. I would like a little bit more so what's the point of what you guys are doing?
Right.
We've said that about a lot of AEW groups. I think Dark State needs to sort of formalize what it is. And I know that this is a group that is probably doing the whole we don't have a leader thing, but I'd like for them to pick a leader. I think they probably should have a leader.
Who would it be? Deion Lennox, right? Because he's the one who talks the most.
Probably. That makes sense. So I want to know it's time for status update with Flobo Boyce. I didn't do any pre-production, so imagine a cool video package, like a news thing, like
you just throw a segment at me.
News, and pictures of you doing work at a news studio, like looking at your paperwork,
just stepping on boxes in my chair. Okay,
yeah. So this is a status update, but this is for. I want your status update on someone who was once a Flobo's market pick, Thea Hale.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about what's going on with Thea Hale and where she is and what you think's going on with her and where you stand on her now.
Well, 2025 wasn't the best year for Thea Hale after having some choice losses in her career. She came back with a new coat of paint. So glad her theme song, I'm a Grown-Ass Woman, got that part cut off. She can actually start being herself, rebuilding to what she wants to be in her mid-20s. The coffee stuff online is kind of adding the characters, the comedy stuff, so she has an element still, which is a lot more subdued than what she wants to be. That said, if there was a power ranking, you can't go any places higher after getting stomped out by Nia Jax on Tuesday. So I would say hold if you have stock in Thea Hale, but if you are someone who is not an aggressive investor, you'll be permitted to sell.
Yeah, I just looked it up. She's 21, so still very young. Lots of time for her. It's just I feel it's weird that she was once someone who you could have argued was going to be the next women's champion.
Yeah.
And now it feels like that is so far away for her.
The Chase U Vortex, man. It was a cool idea to have everyone in the crowd with it, but it ran on too long. It made everyone look like idiots, and now you're reviving something that clearly had an end. It's not good. But I tell everyone, if you have access to Level Up, if you're on Peacock before it moves or it gets deleted, go back to when Thea Hale was 18, 19, just out of high school, and she was doing the whole Greek goddess thing. It was kind of fun. It was kind of fun. She had energy. She was young. It was I can see her being the future, much like how Roxanne Perez is now.
I do think she'll be okay, though, as long as she gets enough at-bats, because she absolutely is someone who brings that energy that she brings to everything is the most important thing in pro wrestling is that I'm going to, whatever you give me, she does it all the way. And that I feel is always the thing is when someone half does something and it just doesn't land, where I feel you could tell her, okay, this week you are going to be someone who thinks you are an albatross, and she'd come out there and be like, "Caw, caw," totally doing it, whatever it is.
Albatross, but yeah, that's close.
So I think she'll be great. Something I thought was great. The second best thing of the night for me. I'll tell you what the first best thing is at the end here. The second best thing of the night Lash Legend and Nia Jax just brawling throughout the whole venue. I love this. You know, I have been on the Lash Legend train since she was taking a trip to the UK, Flobo. Yeah. I am so glad that she's in doing what she's doing, and she's hanging with someone as big and bad as Nia Jax. Plus, you know me, I love it when someone's doing something in the back and then just chaos and anarchy sweeps up like a tidal wave of action. So I love this. What did you think?
Guess Jack hates Law and Order. No, I like this.
Hate them both in that order.
I like this for Lash. I mean, I think ultimately Nia Jax will be too strong, but this is the kind of things we need to see. Everyone gets a chance to prove themselves at some point. This is her test. She has to find a way to dance with Nia in a way that's memorable and gets people going. I need more Lash Legend. What we got on Tuesday was amazing. You don't really see two heavyweights in the women's division fight like that over a prolonged time. This is a Hoss match at the most clearest definition, already a special attraction. Lash has the tools. She has the wingspan. She has the reach. I think she can do it. But to your point, Nia Jax just destroyed Thea Hale. I mean, she's got momentum. So I don't know.
I thought Lash Legends, obviously Nia Jax has been doing this for a while. She's a veteran. She was great. I thought Lash Legend did a really great job. Even in her promo coming to the ring, she kind of, it sounded like she stuttered. She kind of lost her way there, but I like how she handled it and still made it sound like she's just running into the ring, which I think is impressive. I think a lot of people like to jump on it. Oh, she stuttered, but like to be able to save it and make it work, I thought she did great.
I hot take. She handled it better than LA Knight's slip up this week, and I'm a big LA Knight fan. When he blew up that line, he was like, I forgot. I meant to say time is now. I was like, oh, you can't be doing that, LA. You're my boy. But yeah, you're dropping it and just be like, you know what? Forget this. It was kind of rushed, but even Vic Joseph didn't even have to catch her. It was great. Great scene.
Yeah, it was fantastic. But I want to talk to you. Last thing I'll talk about for this week in wrestling is my favorite thing that happened in the whole week.
Oba, right?
I mean, I'm not talking about Oba. I'm not talking about Rollins. I'm not talking about AEW. I'm not talking about Raw. I'm not talking about Jelly Roll. Everyone in the chat, everyone in the comments, I want your favorite thing that happened in wrestling this week. I'm going to tell you mine. This is the right answer. Stax and Ariana Grace finding true love. I mean, both of them have lost so much, and to see that they have found each other. I mean, I'm watching this Flobo and I can hear the song in the background. Take my breath away. You know, just as they look at each other. Tell me you didn't feel the butterflies in the belly.
The favorite thing that happened this week was that the top. That was the best thing.
Don't you love Flobo?
No, I actually hate it, but it was interesting about Ariana Grace. Boo thing of the week. No, I think this can work. The fact that she is like going for just the Stax thing, I love it. It was a cool exchange. I do want to see more of them. I hope it doesn't become sappy, but it definitely was an interesting change from the departure of the whole thing.
I loved it. They did have good chemistry because sometimes you see stuff like this and it's like you can tell it's not working. But I loved it. I love that Stax seems to have found a real family now, with maybe even Josh Briggs being there. I thought that this was fun. I think it's a great move for everyone involved, and I want to see more of it. Chris Briggs says, besides the Seth cash-in, the TLC was the best thing from this week. What are you, Flobo? We'll end on what was your favorite thing this week?
Me not losing money on that TLC match. That wasn't favorite at all. I had the Motor City Machine Guns. A TLC match was great. It delivered. Didn't have to be in the card, but I'm so glad it was. It was a cool exchange. I really like that Oba Family promo. I really do. Trick Williams is on another level right now, and he's right. He's going between two promotions. Jack hates both promotions, doesn't watch any of them. but the fact Oba came out and he still like commanded the scene, and when Booker was like the man, he's all man, and he went toe to toe with Trick, and it was like, I am still a champion here. You have to respect me for that. Really, to me, grounded in NXT this Tuesday. And Javon came out and made a whole three-way exchange. I really like that. But Oba Family's character work here as being the ruler felt like it was out of a movie. And I think it gets overlooked because this week was just so stacked with stuff.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. In fact, I had it in my notes to talk about, but I got distracted by Dark Stay Up Butts. So that guy.
All right, bro.
Dark State's going to be 3 members when we come back next week.
Yeah.
I'm like,
What happened to him?
But yeah, no, I agree. I think Oba has been fantastic. I think you're right. I think Trick is on another level. If Trick's able to do this kind of character on the main roster, you've got a future WrestleMania main eventer. You got he's the guy. He's got the look, the size. He's so good on the microphone, and I think he's finally. I always felt like when he became a bad guy, I felt like, dude, you're fun. I don't believe you as a bad guy. I feel like you're playing a part. Now, I think he's really getting into the swing of it. And I'm like, okay, this is good. This is good. He's there.
They called them sheep this week. It was great.
It was fantastic. Moose showed up, and one of my big takeaways is, and I texted you about this, Javon Evans is a lot bigger than I feel like he gets credit for, because I think because he's thinner and he's always in the ring with people like Oba Femi. I'm like, oh, he's a small guy. He's like cruiserweight. But then when he's in these backstage segments, he's just as tall as Moose and Oba Femi and Trick. I'm like, man, he's Javon Evans he's another future superstar. I mean,
I think I talked about this to you a bunch of times because we both work with a guy who goes by, I think he goes by Chris Adonis, right? But Chris Masters, the Master-Lock guy, I saw him in a 7-Eleven once. I was like, cheap. Excuse me, sir. I'd like to have a Slurpee, please. Like the guy was absolutely massive, but on TV it was like, oh, he's pretty big. And so it's kind of cool how or deceiving how wrestling kind of makes people look a certain way. But yeah, John, man, he's a big boy, man. Straight up.
Yeah, I was at Championship Wrestling last night, and like Scorpio Sky was there. And a line we always use is, on TV, you're like, oh, he's one of the smaller guys. But I always say, if you knew him and he was your friend, he would be by far the most jacked, beefy dude know in your circle. He's huge.
Yeah,
he's massive.
And in Los Angeles, hanging next to Shohei Ohtani, that guy's like 6'5", 260. Yeah. To the tank.
yeah. It's crazy. So, in any case, great week of wrestling. Kind of feel like I watched 1,000 hours of it, but that's the way this world is. I loved it. Ricky Sinclair says Javon is the next NXT champion. That's
wrong.
Who do you think it's going to be?
After Charlie Dempsey beats Joe Hendry, he's #1 contender, baby.
Oh, yeah, Kayla, we forgot to mention. Your boy, this is that boy Bouncy, but Kayla, last thing, Flobo, why is the guy whose name will not be said hanging out in refrigerators? Didn't he watch the G.I. Joe where they had the PSA to not hide in refrigerators?
I mean, it's a nice SummerSlam week, the heat waves of Jersey came down to Orlando, had to cool off somehow.
Yeah. Did you are you enjoying Joe Hendry on NXT?
I think it's kind of an added. I don't want to say I don't enjoy him, but I think he's here just to be like a little bit of an added spice of, hey, remember TNA? Cool. Like, I'm not trying to be like, his run was an epic fail. Like, it's not really that serious,
Yeah. It's do we know? I wonder how long he has on his TNA contract, because it does feel like we're kind of like just looking at our watch, going, okay, when is he signing?
Right, Jordan Gray style.
Yeah. So that does it for us. Everyone in the chat, thank you so much for joining us. Everyone watching later on, thank you for joining us. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, 5-star review. We're going to go through a little bit of programming. We're not going to take a break, but I'm going to be gone for a few weeks, and I think you're going to be gone for a few weeks. After that, I'd like to get some more interviews going, so we'll probably come back to that. But Flobo, any final thoughts, and where can we find you online?
Man, thigh guys and butt stuff is my last thought. But more importantly, check me out on justisandwich.com. That's justisandwich.com. Learn more about my blog, man.
We're going to get Tony Khan on and be like, Tony, first question. Thigh guys. Who?
Like, what?
Watch. No, he probably would know. He'd probably be like, I'm a big fan of the Thigh Guys, and I've thought of a few people who could be in there, maybe a few exceptions to your rule, and I'd be like, okay, let me hear him, and he'd probably give me some good, like, oh well, this guy's good, and I'm like, sorry, he wears pants, and he'd be like, yeah, but I'm Tony Khan. Like, listen, rules are rules.
You argue with Tony Khan over thighs would put like gangbusters. The most downloaded episode ever.
I would absolutely listen. I don't care who you are. I have rules on the Thigh Guys, and I'm not breaking them. Don't care who you are. I'll tell you to your face.
Wow.
Danny C would love to see James Storm for an interview. That would be fun to get James Storm on.
Yeah. Hope we do.
We'll have to shoot him an email maybe. And then Kayla says that's why Flobo is a hero. He's just a sandwich.
I love this pun. This pun's great.
You're not allowed to like puns.
I don't usually, but that one, I love it. Because it's kind of a branding thing.
Said says the fridge is a speakeasy entrance.
To where in Orlando, said. Like,
yeah. I know. Hey, there's a speakeasy here in LA with a fridge entrance. Have you been, Flobo?
I was not cool enough to be invited to this.
I guess that's why they hide it in the fridge to keep people like Flobo out. Me instead in there having a good time.
Hey. You got a VIP section in that fridge speakeasy, sir?
If I'm there, it's all VIP.
Listen, leave Joe Hendry alone. I'm not leaving Orlando alone. That place sucks. And the fact that it calls itself the City Beautiful is totally overrating itself.
Yeah, I agree. Did you already plug all your stuff?
I did.
Oh, well, you can find me at Real Jack Farmer across all social media. That's where you can check out what I'm working on. I just did ring announcing and interviews for the United Wrestling Network. Got some cool ones. I got to chat with the Texas Outlaws, known as Wayne and Wyatt Rhodes, the nephews of Cody Rhodes. We had a chat in the ring. It was fun. You can see that. Check local listings for all that stuff, but a lot of other stuff there. I'm going to be heading out of the country for a few weeks, and then I'm going to be back for the LA Rumble. Santino Bros, 30 enter. One leaves the championship shot. You'll be able to watch it on YouTube, or if you're in Southern California, come on down and see the show. I'll post all the details for that. I would love to see you guys all there. Flobo, I think that does it for us. Say some words that you've never said before.
Well, I'll be back next week. I got to find a guest host. If you want to do that, let me know in the comments below.